and welcome to High Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and today I'm going to be taking you through the Boss Metal Zone. The Boss Metal Zone is a high gain distortion pedal. It was the replacement model to the MT-2, which was a very popular pedal amongst the heavy metal and hard rock guitar players. It was probably not the best named pedal because, like any musical product that gets aimed at a genre, sometimes they miss the mark and other musical genres pick it up, and for that reason it's quite a polarizing pedal, mostly because of the name. It is capable of a big range of sounds. The main features I'll go into with some different gain settings, and we can see what it does. So first up, I'll show you my clean tone. Turn that off because that's not clean. It's my Fender Stratocaster. Some neck. Connected to the input connection of the Metal Zone. The output connection is running to our 2-notes Clean preamp, which is acting as our amplification device, and I'm running it from our 9-volt DC one-spot power supply. So first up, I'll take you through the setting I was using in the opening sounds. It's kind of on the higher gain range, and we can see what it does from there. So we'll turn it on. So the big part about this pedal, or the main feature point, is its EQ section. It is capable of a huge amount of gain range, and because of that, it's been coupled with a very powerful EQ. Over here, we've got our bass and treble control. The bass control is on the bottom, and the treble control is on the top. It is an active or a semi-parametric EQ, and what that means is that clockwise from the 12 o'clock position it will boost signal, and anti-clockwise from that position it will cut signal. So you can go from this to that with just the bass and the treble. A big mistake I think people play when people are playing with these pedals for the first time is that they spend too much time making big adjustments to the EQ stage, when a small adjustment can make a big difference to the sound, as you heard there. So at the moment I've got them at about 1 o'clock, just a little bit of a bass push and a little bit of a treble push, and we'll move into the mid-range control. So the mid-range control is the sweepable mids section of the pedal. And what I mean by sweepable mids is that you can pick a frequency range that the mids, or the center point of the mid-range is, and then you can cut or you can boost that signal. And so that allows you to make minor or major adjustments to the overall EQ shape of the pedal, which sounds like this. So what that's doing is the bottom control on the concentric mid-range pot is the frequency. So that's where you select either the 200 Hertz up to 5 kilohertz frequency, and then the knob on the top adjusts the amount of cut or boost that is applied to that frequency. As you probably heard then, there are some drastic changes that can be made. I'll go through it a little bit more specifically. So I'll set a little bit of a boost by pushing the frequency up here at about 2 o'clock, and then I'll sweep through those mids again. So you can hear that that's making a big difference to the sound. I'll do the opposite. I'll do a cut and sweep through those frequencies as well. So I'm going to pull that back to about 10 o'clock. Maybe a little bit more. It's a bit hard to hear that. So it's making a big difference to the sound. The amount of cut and boost that's available on this pedal is probably the most I've come across on a high gain distortion pedal. And for that reason, it's worth making small adjustments to it. I think one of the reasons this pedal is a polarizing device, and some people love it, some people hate it, is because the EQ stage is very powerful. Making adjustments on the fly, maybe on a dark stage, or if you don't have the time, I think you can probably go too far with the EQ, as you heard there. But by the same token, if you're changing guitars or you're changing amps and you want a really consistent high gain sound, spending some time learning how to use that EQ stage will make a big difference. Mid-range is everything for a guitarist. In a live scenario, a sound guy is going to isolate your mid-range frequencies, and that's where the guitar is going to sit. So spending time making sure that you've got as much clarity and presence in the mix is a big part of being heard on stage. In the bedroom or in the enjoyment of your own practice, any sound is go. Anything that makes you want to play a little bit more is a good thing. So you might find that there are some EQ settings where that mid-range is highly scooped for those sort of higher gain metal sounds that maybe aren't as practical in a live setting, but you enjoy very much. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. So to show you a bit more of the EQ range and what the pedal can do, I'll go through some settings now and sort of show you where I think the pedal excels. So again, the first one will be this distortion setting I was using before. I'm just pushing the mid-range a little bit by having a boost there. So it does the hard rock thing pretty well. I've got the gain set at about 10 o'clock. I'm going to push that up to the higher ranges and sort of tweak a more aggressive sound from it. So from this, neck pickup, bridge pickup. I'm going to bring in just a little bit more bass in with that and sweep through some of those mids. So you can hear it's a lot richer in the higher gain range. The EQ doesn't change quite as much as you turn the gain from the setting I had it in to the setting that it's in. But again, with an EQ this powerful, it's always worth giving a little bit tweak. I'll take it down to kind of the 10 o'clock position now, and you'll hear sort of what that gain range is like. So we're about here. We'll dial a little bit more bass in and a little more treble in. So it's still reasonably distorted there, and the EQ is still having a pretty big effect on the sound. I'll take it from there to the minimum position and try to get a bit more of an overdrive sound out of it. It's lacking a little bit of presence, so I'm going to set the mid-range a little higher and put a boost there. It's pretty boxy sounding, so a little bit of a tweak there could make a big difference. Maybe less mid-range. It's not quite an overdrive, but it's a less aggressive tone, and with that mid-range push you're going to find it'll sound a bit more amp-like. So that's kind of the range of the Metal Zone. Again, the EQ is very powerful. I know I've said it a few times, but it's definitely worth playing with the guitar or guitars you use and the amps you use and finding a few settings there. If you think about the knobs as like the face of a clock, an hour or half an hour adjustment of any one of these controls is going to make a big difference to the sound. I guess it's the downfall of having such a powerful EQ is that a small adjustment will make a big difference to the sound. But if you're sitting around and playing and practicing with your equipment, then there are less enjoyable things to do than coming up with a bunch of great distortion tones. So if you're looking for an alternative rock, a heavy rock, a hard rock sound, I think the Metal Zone is a great option for you. They're a very consistent sounding pedal. And once you get your settings right with your guitar and your amp, the range of tones that is available on this compared to a pedal that has a more simplified tone control is very, very high. So again, the Metal Zone maybe not the greatest name in the world. Perhaps it should have been called the Distortion 3 or something like that. But Boss really did a great job of making the EQ very, very powerful. Ryan and I were talking the other night about how the frequency range that's available on that mid control sweeps the range of 3 or 4 of the EQ sliders on my Mesa Boogie amplifier. So it's definitely in the range of what you would find on those higher gain amps as far as tweaking your tone goes. So that's the Boss Metal Zone. If you're interested in checking one out, you can go to the links below and grab one for yourself. Don't forget to check out our members area where we'll go into a bit more detail about some of the settings you can use with this and some other pedal combinations that sound really good. It is free to sign up. And don't forget to give our video a like, a share, a subscribe if you've enjoyed it. Drop us a comment. We do appreciate that feedback, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.